Both of my parents came up from a humble beginning in Veracruz, a beautiful city in the southeastern coast of Mexico. It was here on Market Street where they learned to work with what they have. My parents lived in Boca del Rio, a county of Veracruz, for almost 3 decades. My parents then moved to Puebla, Mexico in 1992. My father to pursue his education of being a mechanic at a local university, and my mother as his biggest supporter. My sister Karen was born in Puebla in 1994, and shortly after, my parents moved back to Veracruz, where I was born 6 years later. My fondest memories of Veracruz, living there for only 4 years before migrating to the United States in 2004, were riding around my uncle, Mario, and Ignacio's shoulders at the local football games of rival clubs Cruz Azul and Necaxa. My uncles would often argue over the games and someone would end up knocked up. My father is the smartest, funniest, most loyal man I know. He makes things hard on us to teach me, my family, and my nieces and nephews, who he loves dearly, lessons his father and grandfather didn't. He never shown signs of weakness, and as he says, he's still in his prime. He enjoys his job very much and is always keen on showing off what new car he buys to fix and resell. My mother and father, like any other couple, have their ups and downs, but they always work hard to provide my sister and I a successful life, and so that we don't have to struggle like they did growing up, barely making it by. But that's what made them stronger for the last 20 years. My mother's the most loving, caring person I know. She never holds her tongue when something is going on, but knows when to be serious. She's my sister's role model, and I can see my mother in my sister as she gets older. I honestly do not know what I'd do without my mother. She's like an octopus, doing many things at once to help. My sister is my role model, always has, always will be. Since I can remember, I've always wanted to be like her. Although she doesn't make the best decisions, I always see the best in her, and I've always been jealous of all the things she's done and had. As I get older, I realize how much of an influence she's had on me, from helping me dress to giving me advice, and I always see the many differences we have as well. Adobe will always hold a special place in my heart, not just for the education, if any, I received there, but for all the crazy and funny memories. There would always be fights spawning across the halls every other day, so I can't really say I ever felt safe there. It was just a place I had to go to. Most teachers remember me because my sister went there 6 years before me and she was a wild child. After school, we would always go to the rec center across the street to play indoor soccer, basketball, or art, anything to help us get away from the streets, which was the plan for it being built to pay tribute to public service worker Gustavo L. Garcia, who worked to help the community for over 3 decades. The greatest gift my sister has given me was allowing me to become an uncle. Anthony, or Tony, was the first, and he took me by storm. He was always crawling around the house, breaking my video games, and the star of my Snapchat story. Born in 2003, it feels crazy that I was still in Dobie when he was born, and now he's almost in school. Watching Tony grow up has been a blast. Although he's a crazy troublemaker, he is caring and a smart kid, a combination of my parents. He is the oldest of his siblings, so he'll have to be a good role model to his two younger sisters, Nicole and Victoria. I know that I will have to be a good role model to him as he looks up to me, according to my sister. And I see that. Whenever I teach him a new wrestling move, he tries it out on his sisters, like I used to do to mine.
¿Qué está haciendo, Nani?
Estaba que se payata.
¿Poniéndole la llanta?
Se le ponen
Aside from the headlocks and scissor kicks on his eldest younger sister Nicole, or Nicholas as I call her sometimes, is an ever-growing relationship that reminds me of the one I once had with my sister when we were younger. She would always look out for me, and so would I, as Tony is known to take the blame for her sometimes, as she's even crazier than him in her own way. If there's ever a silence, they're up to something. The pair are inseparable, and their many tornadoes have left alone for a good while. They're old enough now to where I have to take care of them, so I'm the cool uncle. Nicole is the oldest one yet. Please don't say no to your older sister, Victoria. I thought Tony was bad, but compared to Nicole, he's an angel. Although she's small, she can surely pack a punch, and she's not afraid of anything, even dogs, which Tony's afraid of. And she can always make you laugh.
Nicole,
Mike.
baila. Que nos años va a bailar, Karen. Baila más feo, pues. Esto va a ser más fácil.
The youngest, Victoria, or Tori, or Victor, as I call her, is still growing up, and hopefully she is not going to be like her older siblings and be crazy, but she'll likely take a page from their playbook and break something original if they haven't already. She's often referred to as the peacekeeper, as she always gets angry when Tony and Nicole do something bad. Now that I think about it, it's probably because she's too young to join in on the trouble.